welcome Juan to this podcast. I'm very excited to have you here and to chat with you about your running journey. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. So let's start with to learn a little bit about your background, Juan.
So I'll tell you, I've done a little bit of everything. I've run my whole life. I used to play a lot of basketball, soccer, football, squash. I played a lot of squash. A lot of injuries during sports. So basketball, a lot of hamstrings, soccer, a lot of hamstring injuries. So just one day I said, you know what, I'm going to stop and just focus on running. So I used to do hundreds. I used to do 400s. I was very compatible. I swim as well. And out of the blue, I think about I was in my 20s. So over 20 years ago, I said, you know what, I'm just going to focus on running. So I started doing my 5Ks, half marathons, and then I couldn't get out. I never stopped. So I sort of abandoned all of the sports. I've never done another sport again and just focused on running. So I do Ironmans and marathons,
Oh, wow.
but basketball, soccer, squash, I never played again. Now that paddle is in, a lot of people are calling me to play paddle, but I'm running is part of my life. So I find it every time I try to do something a little bit different out of what I usually do. I don't know if it's a mental, a lot of this has to do with mental. Something happens to me, an injury or something happens. So I try to focus on what's mine now.
Oh, that's great. And what do you do professionally?
So I'm a real estate broker in Miami.
Oh, okay.
So
Great.
I
So you,
have a real estate company. I do everything from residential, commercial, construction. We do basically everything
oh,
here in Miami. I have an office so my base is Miami, but I have an office in Beaufort, Georgia, and in New Orleans, Louisiana.
oh, great. Great. And then I think you're originally from New Orleans, right?
So I'm originally from New Orleans. My family background, my parents from Peru. My dad is from Peru. My mom is from Chile.
Oh, nice.
Grandparents from Argentina. So have a little bit of a mix of everywhere. But I
Oh,
was born and raised in New Orleans.
oh, great. I call them global citizens, right?
Yes, yes,
That's awesome. Oh, that's great to know. So you tried a lot of different sports and
everything.
then
Yeah,
found the one that you love and passionate about, which is
yes,
running, and you are running with it. Okay.
yep.
And did the transition from different sports into running just happen magically, or you did took some time to think about like, okay, what I like, and then let's continue with this.
Well, not really. It was easy. I was always a very fast runner. So when I was in eighth grade, I
Uh-huh.
was competing against the 12th graders. So I was very advanced and always a very fast runner. But like I said, I was doing hundreds, 400s, 800s, not doing long distance. So it was a little bit hard because I love basketball. I love soccer. I actually had full rides in college because of
Oh, nice.
basketball and soccer,
Hmm.
nothing to do with track and field. So I'm not going to say it was, I do miss it, but running is my passion. I mean, it's my passion. So I could say it was easy. I miss it. I would like to do it every once in a while, but I know that when I do it, it's very hard because injuries do come.
Ah,
So
I see.
different movements, everything. So I try to just focus on what's mine right now. And with age,
Yes.
I got sort of used to it. And now, I mean, I'm 47 years old and I'm not even interested in trying anything new. I mean, I stick to my marathons and my Ironmans. And actually this year, I didn't even do a triathlon. I focused on finishing my six majors, and that was my goal this year.
Wow. So did you just wrap up your six majors with Berlin?
Yes, with Berlin.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more about your six majors journey. How did it start?
So
Yeah.
I started the journey. I started about 12 years ago, but I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really focused on the six. I was just I was focused on running the best marathons. I love to travel.
Mhm.
So I've run about, I'm sort of at the 40-ish right now,
Oh, okay.
getting to the 40-ish. I've done marathons everywhere, half marathons everywhere. So I sort of wanted to travel the world and run different marathons. Um, After I did my, so after I got into Boston, I did Boston. That's where I really, that chip,
Hmm.
like, I have to finish this. I have to do this. I did Boston 2 years ago. I didn't want to train like that again. So I said, you know what, let's finish this. Let's get these majors in. And surprised, I got into Berlin last year, 2022.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So got into Berlin lottery, and I had to move it to this year. So I got into Berlin, I got into London,
Hmm.
and I said, listen, this is gonna be. I mean, I could do this 2023.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I didn't get in Tokyo,
Uh-huh.
but my wife got in Tokyo.
Okay.
So when my wife got in, we have a 2-year-old. We said, listen, let's just go. I'll figure out a way. I've run several New York marathons, and I've been part of a team called Team for Kids. It's a charity in New York. So I sent them an email and I said, listen, guys, can you help me out? Virginia got into Tokyo, and I
Uh-huh.
would love to run Tokyo with her. And, I'm shooting for the six right now. So if you could get me a spot. And they said, listen, we could get you a spot, but you have a month and a half to get the donations. Can you pull that off? I'm like, yeah, I'll call a couple of friends. I have a friend, a very good friend, childhood friend that works for MasterCard, and
Uh-huh.
MasterCard actually does matching. So I said,
Nice.
listen, let me call my friend, give me 5 minutes, let me make sure he could do the match. Gave him a call. They said yes. They got the spot, and I did Tokyo.
Wow. So you did
Yep.
three of them, Tokyo,
So
London,
this
and
so this year I've done Tokyo, London, Berlin, and I'm gonna do New York.
oh, you are. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
that be your sixth, or this is a repeat of
My
New
New
York?
York will be my fifth. My
Oh, wow.
fifth New York. I've done New York 5 times. I've done Chicago 8 times.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, you said you did 40 marathons. You're probably now
yeah.
not
So
keeping
just
track.
majors alone, I'm like at 16, 17.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And then let's talk about a little bit of Iron. You say you do Ironmans too.
I do, I do.
Like, I think you're the first one I'm talking who is doing both, because I know I've talked to someone who does inline skating and marathons that
And
did in
marathons.
Berlin.
Let me
Yeah,
see
the
if I could get you
Berlin.
more enlightened.
Yeah. I was wondering, how does it different Ironman versus running a marathon? Like, it's a huge, physical undertaking, right?
It is, but I think a lot of triathletes will tell you the same thing. I find it easier to train for an Ironman
Hmm.
than for a marathon.
Oh, is it?
Yes, because you're varying your training so much, so many different days, such different things.
Hmm.
It's a lot. It gets a lot easier. Now the race is tough,
Right.
but training wise, the training for me, it's easier to do a triathlon because you could wake up, you go for a swim in the morning, which is great. Waking up and going for a swim is unbelievable. So you
Hmm.
go for a swim, you get back, you have a second, you could have a second training session, say an hour and a half on the bike, which is another great, like
Right.
we call them cross trainings for
Yes.
us. So if we do cross training, and then what's mine is the running. So then I get into running because I'll be very honest. I'm a fast swimmer,
Uh-huh.
and I could really train myself for any. Thank God I could do any. I could train myself for whatever pace I'm focused on.
Hmm.
But the bike, I'm so slow. I mean, I cannot. I could train myself to death, and I cannot get up to speed. I do train myself, so I've been thinking about maybe getting a coach and
Uh-huh.
doing more. I had a friend that coached me for a couple of triathlons, but I just cannot get up on that bike. But going back to your question, I find it a lot tougher just to focus on the run,
Mhm.
easy run, track, long run, easy run, jog. Now, when I train, I'm a 6 day trainer. I train 6 days. So
Uh-huh.
my off day, I'll usually, I'll stick in a bike or a swim or stretching, whatever I can do. So it sort of gets, I'm not going to say boring, but it's the same routine, and it starts getting harder and harder and harder.
Mhm.
Um, I don't do weights. A lot of people tell me to incorporate, but I've done this for so many years. I'm so comfortable with what I do nowadays
Right.
that I don't like to add things that I'm not used to.
Mhm.
And I purchased a whole so COVID, we built a triathlon gym inside of one of so we have the garage is a triathlon gym. I
Wow.
have weights, I have everything.
Yeah.
I've never touched them. Never. I
How does
never
it
touched
look?
them.
This is the first time I'm hearing. What is a triathlon gym looks like?
So I'll walk you through. So I have a double French door. You
Yeah.
open the French door. To the left, I have a 60-inch TV
Uh-huh.
in the middle.
Uh-huh.
I actually, for the races that give posters, because not all races give posters, I have uh, New York's, all of my Chicago. So I basically focus more on my Chicago since I'm a legacy runner.
Hmm.
So I have every single one of the Chicago races.
Hmm.
My back wall is all of my medals.
Uh-huh.
So me and my wife, actually, because my wife also runs. So we have, I can't even explain the amount of medals, but almost a complete wall full of medals.
Uh-huh.
Um, my wife's runner,
Uh-huh.
so she has a treadmill.
Okay.
In the middle of in the middle, we have our triathlon bikes because we both do the triathlon. So
Mhm.
we have our machine. Our bike is on our machine,
Uh-huh.
and on the left is my treadmill. So
Okay.
it's two treadmills and a bike, and all we do is switch the bike.
I
So
see.
if it's my wife, she switches it. If it's me, I switch it, and
Mhm.
it's basically we do our brick training. It's called, so it's brick. So brick is you do bike. I don't know, say 3 hours of bike, and then you immediately jump on the treadmill for
Mhm.
2.5 hours.
I
So
see.
you'll immediately just do that transfer. And for me, it's easy because I'll put on a movie, I'll put on a series, and I just start watching TV,
Right.
and that's it.
Oh wow.
And I'm in Florida, so we have a lot of humidity.
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you, 10 years ago, I was an outdoor runner.
Hmm.
Now, if if in the 4 months of training I'll run twice outside,
Oh wow.
that's a lot. I'm almost 100%. I'll say 95% indoor trainer. I
Wow.
train on my treadmill.
Wow. It looks like you are using your triathlon gym pretty
Yeah,
much very
yeah, a lot.
extensively between you and your wife. Oh, pretty.
Yeah,
That's what I was about to ask because I know this. I have heard so many folks talking about the humidity in the south, especially right this summer.
yeah.
And unfortunately, for in all the fall runs, you have to train during the summer. I'm sure it was brutal, but if you are sheltered in the indoor, it's probably you uh, survived that heat or
You
humidity.
survive it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's brutal. I mean, you could be well trained and go out for a run, and because my wife still runs outdoor,
Hmm.
she has come back mile 5 to finish on the treadmill because she just can't, you can't handle the heat.
Right.
And
Right.
then summertime, it's the heat plus the rain. So
That
that's
is true.
that's you get a little bit of both.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Great. So 40 marathons and ultra marathons, and I'm not probably ask you how many shorter distance runs you have done. You probably
Oh,
forgot to keep track of
no
them.
idea.
So definitely, and you're a real estate professional, so definitely you get something out of running. What is it? How does running has impacted that you still continuing to do so much running?
No, man, the adrenaline, the rush, the push, the knowing your body, taking your body to the limits, for
Hmm.
me, that's the exciting part. And always signing up for something. I still get excited after running all of these marathons. I
Uh-huh.
still get excited when I'm signed up. So that excitement, that just waiting for that date, for that race to come. I mean,
Hmm.
look, I could be like right now. I started train. I'm running again after Berlin. I took a couple weeks off, so I started running again on Monday, and now I'm just my head is focused on New York,
Right.
and now all I'm thinking about are the five boroughs, the bridges, the people,
Yeah.
the restaurants. So I get excited, and it's like I haven't lost that passion. It's
Uh-huh.
that passion. It's that drive. It's just that adrenaline. I haven't lost it. So I think, I mean, hopefully I never lose it.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think I'll say that. I mean, it's the adrenaline, the excitement of being there.
Hmm.
And like I said, now with age, I really don't focus a lot on the speed,
Hmm.
but I'm happy to say that if I want to run a sub four, I could run a sub four. If I want to run a 330, a 320, a three, I've never done a sub three, but a 320, a 310, I could focus and do it.
Hmm.
Um, when I met my wife about 7 years ago, I actually did train with other people, and that's another passion of mine. So I licensed myself
Hmm.
to put together my training plans and my wife's training plans. So
I see.
that's another thing that I love to sit down and I'll do a different training plan for each one of my races, even a 5K,
I see.
5K, half marathon, marathon. And that's also something that I love to do because, you'll do it on a weekly basis.
Right.
And since it's for myself and for my wife, I could really focus on, okay, where did we go wrong? What did we do? What can we change? What can we do better? And all of those things I'm still very passionate about.
So amazing. I
And
think the
I'm still one of those guys. So I read a lot too, and I listen to podcasts.
uh-huh.
And a lot of people like, is wearing your medal on a Monday still a thing? I'm like, dude, I'm almost at 40 marathons. If it were me, I'd
Yeah.
still have my medal on. I mean,
Yeah.
because I'm proud of what I did. It's not a I mean, yeah, some people could say showing off, but it's not a showing off too. It's what I did for me. It's
Yeah.
what I feel, what I'm proud of, what I accomplished.
Hmm.
Because I mean, yeah, you have experience and you run a lot, but guys, to finish a marathon, it's exhausting. It takes a lot of mental strength, a lot of endurance. It's a lot of hard work, a
Yeah.
lot of training, a lot of events, things that your life changes. Your
Right.
life changes completely. There's no Saturdays, no Sundays. If you like to drink, you have to stop at one point. You can't. It's not something that you could. I mean, there's sacrifices
Right.
with
Right.
with running a marathon.
No, this
So
I'm glad that you expanded on what drives you to continue to run. But one of the things that I think you highlighted is so critical is that you actually competing against yourself, right? So every day you're
exactly.
trying to get better. And I love the way you say that, you create your own training plan and you mix it up. So like every training plan, you are trying to mix up or bring in something new. So like you're starting from scratch from every round, looks like.
Always,
Yeah, yeah,
always. And I start from a base.
yeah.
Even though I don't need the base, I start from a base and a ridiculous base. My base is started 2 miles,
Hmm.
3 miles, and I start working my way all the way up. So I'll go the whole, like if I were a brand new runner.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah,
One thing I'm wondering, so you're taking so much and as you say, self-discipline, the aspect of training for a marathon or ultra marathon for as such, it's very critical, and continuous improvement on your performance from yesterday to tomorrow, right? You're competing against each other. I wonder how does it impact other aspects of your life, like in professionally or in other aspects of your life personally, maybe?
Well, that's the good thing about being a real estate broker, that I could manage my own times.
Yeah.
The other good thing is I have an amazing wife, which is also a runner
Right.
and a triathlete, and I could say she's my number one. I mean, support. The support I have from my wife for this,
Hmm.
I cannot even explain. I mean, she will. We have, like I said, we have a 2-year-old.
Right.
She will do anything for me to hit my goals. Like I support her as well. We're both,
Right.
we're mutual,
Hmm.
but basically the big changes are, which aren't really big changes either, because we don't really drink, but
Hmm.
when we do drink and go out, we party.
Right.
So
You are in Miami, so you have to do that.
yeah, so we do that.
Yeah.
And New Orleans, sorry, I'm trying
Right.
to get you
Yes.
more light, um but in reality, not much has changed from our lifestyle. I could say so. I'm a night trainer, so
I see.
that's a little bit where we could miss a few things together.
Hmm.
My wife trains during the day,
Uh-huh.
and I train during the night. So I think it would be a little bit, I don't know, a lot better. She's tried to get me to do it a little bit more, to try to train in the mornings
Hmm.
so we could train together. But I can't get going in the mornings. I just can't. It's been so many years of me. So I'll start training 7 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
7 o'clock. So depending on what I have to do on a day, I could finish 8, 9 ish. If I'm doing a triathlon, it things change. So that there I'll start in the afternoons because it's more hours.
Hmm.
But I mean, really nothing. We've always liked to travel.
Right.
So marathons are a great excuse to travel. Great
Absolutely.
excuse.
Yeah.
So really, um, nothing. We love to eat,
Hmm.
and while you're training, you eat double.
Right.
So it's like, I would say really not much. I mean, we might, if we don't have all these marathons, we may go out a little bit more,
Hmm.
maybe. But now with a 2-year-old, it's not easy either. So it's I don't know. I think our lives haven't changed that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. It's good to have the flexibility. And looks like since you love traveling, at least both of you and your wife, it's kind of bonus that you can combine with the races that
Yeah.
you're running for even for the 2-year old, and as he or she grows up, can
Oh, and
see the
that's
places.
been
Yeah.
great. She's a world traveler. My
Yeah.
daughter's been everywhere. My daughter's been to Tokyo. She's been to Berlin,
Yeah. Yeah.
London, Canada.
Awesome.
Where else have we gone? Well, in the States, I can't. We've been everywhere. So yeah, she's a world traveler. 2 years old and has her passport stamped everywhere. We're going
Pretty.
to London. We're going to London again in April. We're both running London.
Oh, next year. Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Wow. Yes, that's the way to learn real history or places instead of
yeah,
reading from books for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
You touched a little bit on your support system. You mentioned, obviously from your wife, both are runners and triathletes, so you definitely have support. But apart from that, anything else that stood out as your support system? Because I think it's extremely critical for us runners to have a good support system around you
Well,
as
I
you chase
do.
goals. Yeah.
I do. I have. I can't even tell you the amount of, well, my family from
Hmm.
everywhere,
Hmm.
my friends in Miami. I can't even explain. I mean, I'm posting something and everybody just starts blowing up. Where are you going? Send us your number. Let us follow you. So I have my support. And I usually, when I'm doing a easy run, I call some of the marathons like an easy run.
Yeah.
I'll take my phone,
Hmm.
and I take pictures and all the messages are there. I mean, I have a very I have great friends, great family that really support me. I have a big amount of friends here in Miami as well that I've been a coach to some of them. So
Oh, nice.
I don't really coach a lot of people, but
Mhm.
I've coached probably a dozen people, especially on their first marathons.
West
So
Marathons. Yeah.
I like to help them. I have one personal friend right now that is gonna run New York that I'm training.
Awesome.
So I'll say I have a good support team, and my real estate agents, all of them also know that I'm a runner,
Uh-huh.
and everybody there knows as well. When I used to do charities, I'm gonna say, I mean, people have been outstanding with me. I've been very lucky with people donating on my pages, and like I said, people that work at companies that match as well. And
Right.
I've had a lot of support that way too,
Oh,
because the
nice.
charities are hard. It's not easy to get that amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I've been lucky.
Some of the big, runs, yeah, charity can be good amount that you can
Yeah,
raise. So it's definitely, unless you're a master in, raising funds,
yeah,
it
yeah.
can be challenging too. Um, I'm curious. It looks like you're running for a long time. You have run so many, races over, plus, 10 plus, 20 plus years. One thing I'm curious to, see how you see that the races, the way they're organized has evolved over a period of time, because you have seen across the world different races organized, small, large scale, like world measures. How do you see us evolve over a period of maybe last 10, 20 years?
I mean, everything really has gotten better,
Hmm.
easier for us.
Hmm.
I'm going to say since I've been doing the majors, uh, everything has really been smooth with all of the organizations of. I'm just speaking major wise,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
um, and not trying to offend or talking bad about anything. Over my years, I've seen Chicago just gets better every year,
Hmm.
every year. New York, always better.
Hmm.
London, I mean, I cannot praise more about London. I fell in love with London this year. I had gone on vacation to London, not to run before.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't the biggest fan of London, and I have to say, I mean, I can't wait to go back. I loved it. I love the organization.
Hmm.
The convention centers
Uh-huh.
um, are getting better. Uh, Going back to what I was gonna say, so out of the six majors, I found that all of them, except for Tokyo,
Hmm.
are just so, I mean, so they were so helpful. I mean, because for me, it's very important. I love to go to a convention center and I take my time. So I'll be at a convention center half a day.
Right.
So I look at new products, I
Hmm.
try new products,
Hmm.
I try new shoes.
Uh-huh.
I'll do everything that you have at a convention center. That's one evolution that you can see with these marathons. Back in the 10 years ago, just to throw this out there, 15 years ago, Chicago had, I don't know, 20 booths.
I see.
Now it has 150 booths.
Yep.
The same New York, the same London. Well, I haven't done multiple Londons or Berlin, so I have to just focus on those. But now there's so many and so many other products
Hmm.
that it helps us runners also evolve. I mean, I look back at the shoes I used to wear 15 years ago and the
Yeah.
shoes I wear now, and I can't believe it.
Hmm.
And but basically that, I mean, and just each one gets better every single year, and their support systems also get better.
Hmm.
I love that Chicago, Boston, Berlin, London, Tokyo, all of them, sort of their cities know that there's a race on that date.
Right.
So you walk into that airport and everybody knows that that weekend, like right now, Chicago's blowing up with runners,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they know that that weekend there's a marathon.
Hmm.
And the support for those runners is something, because, support system for us runners, even though they don't know you, I
Right.
mean, it's so helpful. I mean,
Hmm.
just to and I tell everybody, put your name on your shirts, man. Put your
Yeah.
country on your shirts. If you don't want to put your name, put your country.
Mhm.
Whatever you could do on your shirt for people to yell your name or your country or whatever, you have no idea how that carries you.
Right.
Especially when you hit that mile 20,
Yes.
21, 22, and you need that extra boost. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's just great. But yeah, going back to that question, I think just the way you see more and more running products and helpful things for us runners,
Hmm.
and you only see them at convention centers. I mean, we get our advertisements but you get to know all these things at these convention centers.
Right. What's
and
new?
and,
Like,
and that's
yeah,
and again, not to offend anybody, but Tokyo was like the one that I was sort of surprised.
I see.
There wasn't much information for me. I ran it this year. There wasn't much information. I didn't, I wasn't even able to purchase anything actually. So I was probably there maybe an hour.
I see.
So other than that, the rest, man, I thought amazing. Berlin, amazing. London, I went twice to the convention center. I loved it. I
Ready
loved
to
it.
go back. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did Tokyo this year too, because I saw the T-shirt line, and I think you have to pre-book, otherwise there is no way you can buy it. I
No.
was a little bummed out myself too, like, hey, I couldn't, like, that was the only major that I don't have any memorabilia that I can keep it
Yeah,
myself.
I had a
Yeah.
friend of mine bought a memorable. He just yelled. He was in line. He's like, "What do you want? Just get me anything. Large, extra large." I said, "Get me a large." He said, "There's only extra large. Get me the extra large." And when he brings the extra large, it was like a lady's extra large. I'm like, dude. So this goes in a poster because this will never fit me. And we laughed about it. But
Yeah.
I got that I do have. I can't wear it, but I have it. But
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
hopefully, I mean, I love Tokyo. I have to go back.
Oh, it's
I have
beautiful
to go
city.
back.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, I have to go back, and hopefully I'll run it. Now I'm on the quest to the twice. So I
Oh,
want to
the World
do,
Majors, the second
yeah,
go.
I want to
Okay.
do the second go.
Oh,
So I'm not gonna push myself the way I did for this one at the end. I'll
mhm.
just let it come whenever it comes. If I get in lottos, and I'll leave Boston for last, and I'll figure it out. If I have to train to qualify, I'll just figure it out, because I think Boston charities are just crazy.
It is.
From what I hear, they're
Yeah.
just 10, 15, 20. I'm not going to get into that. So I'll figure out how to qualify.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So, from Berlin this year, you just ran. What is your favorite memory? Is there any specific moments that stood out for you?
I loved the start, the excitement at the start
Yes.
before the race. That
Yeah.
was very unique to Berlin,
Uh-huh.
very exciting, very nice. And I'm gonna be honest, the gate just brought chills.
That's true.
Chills. I mean, just when you're about to pass that, it was the most. It was extremely exciting. Not because you're close to the finish, just that experience of passing the gate
Mhm.
and just seeing the people and people crying and everything, the excitement. Oh man,
Yeah.
that was those were the two biggest points for me. I mean, it was great.
It's
and
truly.
and the race was great, really. It was a different experience. I liked it a lot. I signed up again, so
Awesome. So you're
we'll
running next
see.
year as well?
We'll see.
Oh,
I
okay.
signed up in the lottery as a
Okay.
team, so
Oh, okay. Okay. So that would
yeah,
be, I think I
yeah.
heard it would be very special, 50th edition.
50th year. Yep,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be
yep.
great. So what's next for Juan? I know you said,
Well, right now, New York.
yes,
Um, After New York, I am gonna take a little bit of time because it was a lot of marathons this year.
it is.
So I'm gonna wait. I have so I'll take some time off during the holidays. I'll run New York, probably take November, December, January off,
Hmm.
half of January off, and I'll start half of January, February, March for London.
Oh, okay.
So I'll get back to it about mid-January. So I'm gonna take a lot of time off for this one.
After New.
And then after London, I haven't signed up yet, but we've been talking about going to Spain for another. I've only done one full Ironman,
Hmm.
so I want to do. There's a full Ironman in Spain, in I believe in June, July,
Oh, wow.
and we're
Okay.
talking about signing up for that one.
Oh, wow. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting. And I don't know how
So
hot that got. Or summer is how hot it in Spain.
yeah, it gets there, but they
There.
say it's a pretty nice race.
Great.
So
Awesome.
yeah,
So you already have your kind of mapped out your next years,
yeah,
which is at
yeah,
least you just have to sign up a couple of things that you have not signed up
yeah.
yet, but you're almost there.
And Chicago's a go next year for sure. I missed it this year for Berlin.
Hmm.
I hate missing Chicago. Chicago's my number one major. I mean, I consider it the best out of all of them.
Uh-huh.
So I'll sign up for Chicago again for sure. For
That's
sure,
great.
Chicago will be on the map next year. Hopefully, I can make it. But yeah,
So your spring, summer, and fall pretty much looks like in the bag for at least 2024.
yeah, yeah,
Then you'll figure out the next.
yeah.
Well, wish you all the best for your
Thank
next
you.
goals. But it was fun chatting with you, Juan.
Thank you.